Welcome, Stampin' Friends. This is Judy Anderson from judystamps.com, and I'd like to welcome you to my Happy Stamping Studio. I'd love to say hi to my live viewers as well as those of you watching on replay. I want to thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to join us today. It's going to be a fun day. We're going to be doing some blending and some embossing, just having a grand old time, having some fun with our stamping supplies. So we are going to be using the Woodland Scenery stamp set, and we are going to be using the Misty Moonlight, Crushed Curry, Pecan Pie, Pumpkin Pie, and the Versamark pad. We're going to use the Versamark for our embossing, and we're going to start out with, I want to show you how to set up your stamps on this, so you can only have to stamp once. So we're going to move all of this out of the way, and you will be learning how to do some blending without getting some of those awkward colors in there. When you're blending, especially for backgrounds like we are today, we don't want the colors to mix too much if they form like a green color. So like the blues and the yellows, the orange and the blue will kind of create a purpley color. So we're going to concentrate on that and show you how to use your colors wisely. But I want to stamp only once or twice on here. So I'm going to take a look at my base here where we're going to do our blending. And I'm going to decide the layout of my stamps. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say I'm not going to go up any higher. I'm going to use my grid paper for this. And I don't want to go up any higher than, let's say, an inch. So I'm going to keep these just below that point and lay these out to how I want them. And I want to create a scene, so I want to add some depth to this. So I want my deer kind of in between those two here. And I want to make sure that they are straight so that when I stamp, they're straight. And I have showed you several times on how I use my grid and my blocks to make sure the images are straight. I think maybe I can get this one here. I'm going to bring this one all the way down to the bottom. So we have different heights. We go low to middle and then back down a little bit here. And then we have high here. So these are in the background. Okay, so I'm going to grab my block. And my block is similar in size to my paper. So I want to line this, and this one's not big enough. So we're going to go with our bigger block. Let me see if I have it handy here. So this is our background block. I want to make sure that when I stamp this, I have even pressure. So I'm going to go down 1/4 of an inch here at the bottom. Okay, so my paper is up 1/4 of an inch from the block, so that when I go to stamp, I'm going to line it up in that manner. Okay, so we're going to remove our paper, and our first step is going to be to do our blending. Now, I do a lot of oranges and reds and yellows, but I wanted to do more of a night. It's coming to be nightfall. So we're going to do our ground first. And remember, I said I went up just about an inch. So I'm going to line this up on my paper. And I'm going to do the inch mark here. So I know that I need to go up to about 2 inches. So we're going to open our pad up, swirl it in both directions, pressure on the head with your finger. Hi, how you guys doing today? Yeah, I know. This is one of my favorite techniques besides watercoloring. Of course, I've got a lot of favorite techniques, don't I? Okay, starting off the paper and moving on to the paper. starting light, swirling in both directions. Okay, I want that a little bit darker, so I'm picking up some more color, swirling in both directions. And this time I'm going to start in the center. And what that does is that's going to create a variation of our ground. We don't want our ground perfectly colored across. We don't want one end a lot lighter than the other. Unless we're doing like a moon or a sun, then the reflection of that would be coming across. Okay, just going up about an inch. I'm pressing with my brush on the side a little bit. Okay, just like we did last week with our circle image, our circle die cut, I did a little bit of more pressure on the side so it didn't get dark all the way. If you wanted a definite horizon line, you could mask across, but I don't worry about that. Okay, just going up that inch. Okay, I'm going to do a little bit more color. I want it just a little bit darker. We're going to be embossing with black, so I can go pretty dark with this. Okay, so there's our first color. So now the sky, we are doing like a sunset. So I'm going to take my crushed curry next because that's going to be at the horizon line. And that's going to be a little bit smaller. You could use a small blending brush if you wanted. I'm just going to use this large one. And this is just peeking over that horizon line, swirling in both directions. And you can make this as dark or light as you want it to be. And I don't think that I have brought this combination blending with you guys before. So we're going to, and I'm going to bring this up just a little bit right here in the center. Okay, so next we're going to use pumpkin pie. Because that sun is setting, and you've got the orange, and the top of the sky is going to be darker because that sun is setting. So it's going to be that night sky. Get some color on here and bring this, and I'm only going to make this a little bit smaller. Circles going into the crushed curry. And I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit and up a little bit here, and just blending back and forth until I get that color that I want. Now you're going to see I got something wisps in there, and that's okay because those are clouds. Just do this. Now I want to give you another hint. Cut your paper just a little bit bigger than what you want it to be when you're done, because if you get any of that dark stuff on the side, you can trim it off. Now we're using Misty Moonlight, and this is a darker color. So I'm going to go very carefully and very light with it. I'm going to turn this because I'm right-handed, and I want to bring the color from the top to the bottom. So I'm going to start very light. Okay, you could probably also use Night and Navy here. I'm going to bring this down. Just color and blending. I am going over that pumpkin pie a little bit. Okay, let's pick up quite a bit of ink now. We are going to make this a little bit darker. See how it's just layering those colors on? That's the secret. And I'm actually going to go down a little bit right there, because the skyline isn't always straight across. Just keep bringing that color in, layering one layer at a time. Don't get too heavy with your ink. I always tell you guys, it's easier to take and make it darker. You can't take ink away. Okay. And I'm leaving that little bit of a line there. So now I'm going to go in and grab a lot of ink. I want this top line to be quite darker because that sun's setting, and we want to work that darkness along the top. Okay, and it not going to look like much when you start. Okay, I'm going to come down just a little bit. I don't want quite that white of a line in there. Okay. Oh dear. We're going to cover that up. I got an opportunity. Let's see if I can cover that up a little bit. We're going to be putting the tree there. Okay. I want to wash my hands. Let me grab a wipe. Okay. And this to me is too much of stripes. So I want to take my pumpkin pie and I want to take it and blend it down into the crushed curry a little bit more. Right over here. Okay. Bringing that and blending it. And you'll notice that I didn't put any more ink in here. And I'm going to come up with it over here. Come up. Just keep blending that, and it's going to move that ink. The ink is dry on there. There we go. Okay, I want a little bit more. So I am going to pick up a little bit of ink. I'm just going to my lid. I don't want it heavy. Okay, because I want to go and blend it into the blue, that misty moonlight. And can you tell that as I layer that next color on, it covers that up a little bit and it's blending and spreading that out a little bit. Okay, we're going to take the crushed curry and we're going to do the same thing. So when you're blending, it's not always a one and done thing. Okay, layers is really important. I'm going to go up over here a little bit, bringing that crushed curry, and it's changing right before our eyes. And see now how it's not perfect lines. It's coming in and it is blurring a little bit. Okay, I want a little bit more of this blue. I want to do just here. I don't want as big of a line right in there, so I can spot it. And then as I blend, I'm moving it out. And when I say moving it out, I'm making bigger circles. Okay, so that orange is peeking through my misty moonlight. Okay, make sure your ink is dry. And now we're going to go in with our embossing buddy. And you might get some color up. We're going to do this, and I am not going to trim it until I should probably trim it now. I want to trim this side off here because my embossing is going to go off the edge. So I'm just doing a real small sliver. I'm just getting that little bit of a line off of there. Right like that. Okay, and the top and bottom is fine. See how small of a sliver I took? So I love that paper trimmer. That was actually a gift that you could get years ago if you signed up and joined my team. And people are really wanting that because they see us using it. And right now we have a special going on that you can join my team for $35. you can get $125 in product for $35, or you could get $189 in product for $99. So you can, I think you could just about get the cut and emboss machine for that. Okay, so now we've got that on there. So now we're going to ink up our stamp with our Versamark pad. And we're going to get out our foam mat here and lift this all up because we want that cushioning underneath. And when I ink this up, I'm going to ink it up with my stamps facing up. So I'm pressing my ink pad into my stamps instead. Yeah, it looks like the fall nights around here lately, huh? Yeah, our leaves haven't started change. They're just starting to change now. We were up in Michigan over the weekend, and the leaves are almost all gone up there. Okay, I know Chris was up in our neck of the woods. Okay, so I'm going to pull this down and line this up on that middle line there. I want to make sure I have enough of the foam mat underneath, and remember I'm going under 1/4 of an inch. So I'm going to line up that 1/4 of an inch, and I'm lining this tree here over that opportunity that I have. Okay, we're going to bring it up, line it up right like that. That 1/4 inch, put it down and press. That's the powder from the embossing buddy. It's like a real fine. It reminds me of those little bags I used to use when I would bowl on a bowling league. Okay, press that good. Okay, this should come out really sharp. Now I've got my black embossing powder, and I have put this into a container just for ease. It makes it easier during my classes. We're just going to shake that powder twice. Okay, and then we're going to tap it off upside down and flick it with my nails. I'm going to hopefully get all that little stuff off. And we don't have any strays, so that's good. So let me get my tweezers here and my heat gun. So this is going to be a little noisy. So I haven't seen the comments. If you're on here today, live, let us know if you got to see the fall colors up in the UP when you took your trip up there. Now, I am just holding this here until it melts. Check it in the light. A little bit over here. Now, see how my paper is warping? If I turn it upside down and put heat on this side, it's going to take that warp off. Okay. Ooh, I love how that turned out. What do you guys think? Does that look like a sunset, a fall sunset? Okay, I'm going to grab our journaling pens. And I'm going to make a few birds in the sky. I'm just going to take this and draw a couple birds. Couple small ones in the far distance. Now, I'm not going to put a sentiment on here. So let's get our cardstock. And I chose Misty Moonlight as my mat. And see how that sky just blends right into there? And I need to trim it a little bit more on the sides. Let me get that paper trimmer. And we'll trim off a little bit on this side because we've got that embossing. And a little bit on this side. I think that's going to be good. Now, I want to show you something. So we're mounting it on the blue, right? But look what happens if I was going to do a layer of white. So you guys are going to vote. Should I do a layer of white? So what'll happen is this is going to go onto here. So do you like it with the white or without the white? Let me know. You guys are voting. Yeah. Oh, yeah, that would be awesome. Wouldn't it be awesome to have some corn stalks back here? This would be a neat sky to do pumpkins for like Thanksgiving with the cornucopia or something in the front. Yeah. Okay, I'm getting whites. I'm getting votes. Okay, I'm going to give you another choice. Okay, do you want white or do you want vanilla? Vanilla is going to give it a little bit warmer tone than the white. And here's the white. It's only going to be a small margin. Oh, see, you guys are all changing your mind. You want vanilla. Okay, so you have to measure this and grab a piece of vanilla. Yeah, Peggy. Too many options. I know. I'm unfair, right? I cheat a little bit. Give you the options. But you know what? When we're creating cards and creating, it's good to have options, right? Okay, so this is 3.5 by 4.5. So we are going to go 3 1/8 over the half. And did I say 4.5? Who remembers the measurement? 4.5. We're going to go over, we're going to go 5/8 this way also. So this is just going to be a very, very small sliver around there, just to brighten that up just a little bit. Just that much. Okay, I'm going to get my liquid glue out. Move this stuff out of the way. Oh, you guys like oh, you know what? I'm looking at the birds and I forgot something. I'm just going to stamp this a memento. I forgot the smokestack. That cabin has got to have a fire going because it's cold out. But believe me, when we were up this last weekend, it was 60s here. It got down into the 30s. I wasn't ready for that. Okay, there we go. There's our smoke. Clean that off in a second. Let that dry a little bit. Turn this over. Use our glue. Now, another trick, full of tricks today and tips, is to look at your three sides. This side, and this side. And when they're even, should be able to put this down. And your fourth side should be even with the rest. Look at that. Just that little bit changes that whole scene. I think these would make some great note cards to give to people. I would just put something like just a note on there. You could leave the front blank so they can put whatever they want on the inside. Stamp some images for them to add to the inside. Okay, press that down. Take our card base, fold it in half, and burnish that score line. Now I could have used, let me grab pecan pie. I just want to show you guys how just changing your colors would change the look of your card. So I want crumb cake. I'm going to stick with crumb cake. But look if I did it on pecan pie. That brings out the orange in the sky. But I want to keep it more neutral. I use crumb cake a lot for fall cards. How many of you follow me on TikTok? You're going to see another version of this card over on TikTok, partial, just a short little snippet on my craft tip about blending. Okay, so there we go. Look at that. Isn't it a gorgeous sky? How many of you would have thought of using those colors together like that? This is a great little set, you guys. I know I said before that I got it for scrapbooking and card making for several friends of ours. I'll be using this, and I'm going to make actually Christmas cards. I think I'm going to do, a sky like this. I'll do white on the bottom, and I think I'm going to emboss everything in silver. So it'll be a lot of blues and whites instead. So I hope you guys enjoyed this card today, and I look forward to stamping with you all again soon. Until we meet again, everybody.